Hello, everybody, and welcome to That Real Texas Team podcast number 33 here on the channel. I'm the host of the channel. With me, as always, Mike and Chris. And we have a special guest this evening, the one and only Cody Studds. Cody, thanks for coming on this evening. How are you doing?
Man, I appreciate you having me on. And it's a whole lot more fun to do these podcasts where the Texans are doing what they're doing these days than, I don't know, nobody wanted me on a podcast 3-4 years ago. I was begging to go on a podcast. Nobody wanted to talk about a last place football team, but hey, one of the best teams in football right now, everybody wants to talk about them.
Yes, sir.
Yep. It's been lightning. We're basically trying to just capture lightning in a bottle every single week, and I love it.
Yep.
So we got a bunch of stuff to get into. So let's just run through the housekeeping stuff real quick. 124 subscribers right now. I'd like to see that number keep climbing. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content, and hit the like button so we can keep getting in front of new Texans people, Texans fans all over. Go over to Cody Studds. Is it at Cody Studds on YouTube?
Yeah, you just throw the name in the Google machine and you'll find everything you need, from Houston football to the YouTube channel to the Twitter. It's all there.
Yeah. Okay.
It's all there.
All right. Well, Chris just disappeared, but he'll be back at some point. Let's get into the injuries. Obviously, it's Wednesday. Things can change. Got a pretty long list of did not participates.
Yeah.
Nico, Fatukasi, Mixon, Juice, Pierce, and Patterson, as well as Chris Boyd, but all did not participate. Who are you worried about the most not playing, and which one's not that big of a deal?
I'm not worried about Nico Collins. He was out there. He was on the field, sort of, I would tell you, not participating, but around the team. Looked like just kind of a precautionary day for Nico Collins. I'd expect him to be okay. So I'm not worried about Nico. I'm worried like hell about the running back situation. Joe Mixon and Dameon Pierce. Pierce has the hamstring thing that pops up late last week. And so now he's got to go through that this week to maybe get healthy. And then Mixon, we saw him get hurt in Sunday Night Football. I mean, if he can't go, you're talking about a situation where Cam Akers, Dare Agumbawale, and maybe J.J. Taylor from the practice squad is your running back room. I know people will say British Brooks, but British Brooks doesn't practice with the running backs. He spent one small bit with the running backs today, but he practices with the tight ends and the fullbacks. So he's not a running back on this team. I know the position says running back, but he's not a running back on this team. So those are the two I'm worried about. Mixon because it's fresh, Pierce because it's a hamstring. And then at center, I mean, the starter and the backup both having to work out on the side on Wednesday ahead of a Sunday game. That's not good. You're on to the third center in 3 weeks. Like, yeah, that would not be fun. And this is Brian Flores and this defense that Minnesota has that's, had some it deserves some praise through a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden you're on the third center in 3 weeks. That's not fun.
Was it Kendrick Green that they had going?
Yeah, Kendrick Green would be the center if Jarrett Patterson and Juice Scruggs can't play. And I would tell you if both of those guys cannot play and they would both be inactive, then they would use one of the practice squad promotions more than likely on Scott Quessenberry, who is on the practice squad. If you remember Quessenberry's name, that's because he was on the team last year and tore his knee up in training camp last year, which then opened the opportunity for Juice Scruggs to be the starter at center until he got hurt. So it's Kendrick Green until Scruggs or Patterson gets healthy, and then they would take over instead of Green. And if those guys can't go, then you're looking at Kendrick Green and Scott Quessenberry as the backup.
Good.
Okay.
I love Mike just goes, oh, God.
Yeah. Oh. We don't want to read this, but, it's hard to get – it's really hard to keep people healthy right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So those would be the injuries I'm most worried about is those guys.
Okay. Snake bitten. That's really what I'm feeling right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's probably better than last year when, Laramie was missing a week. Titus wasn't even available. Like, there was all these different, like, at least it's just one guy and one position this year. Like, last year they had 3 different starting left tackles in the first 4 weeks, I think. Like they were playing Austin Deculus at left tackle at one point. So, if it's just one guy right now, like you could maybe survive. And I actually asked D'Amico Ryans about it. I said, look, you guys put a lot on the center. It's the 3rd guy in 3 weeks. Kind of how do you operate that way? He's like, it's never about one guy understanding and handling the team and communicating. Like it's about the 10 guys working with that guy, no matter who he is, to make sure it's a team. So we're not really worried about putting this much or that much on that guy. It's up to everybody to make everybody good with this team. And I really like that answer because they do put a lot on the center in this offense. And 3rd center in 3 weeks is something to pay attention to.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be rough sledding because there was clearly some operational issues with Jarrett Patterson coming in there with the running game, at least early on last week. I mean, it is a solid Bears team. So, I mean, hats off to them for
that.
doing
Yeah,
that.
that was the best team in football last year at stopping the run. So, I do tip my hat a little bit to the Bears and to Matt Eberflus is, there's some success there, but the scary thing is Minnesota's not bad right now. They weren't bad last year, and their defense got better with the additions. Like the Bears were number 1 last year. Minnesota was, I think, 9th last year in stopping the run, and then they added guys to that defense. Added Grenard, added the rookie from Alabama, Dallas Turner. Added Cashman. So Ivan Pace, who's a guy who's really turned into a really nice player that got a shout out from Nick Caserio when he was talking about the Vikings. So they've got a really nice defense. So a little concern running the football because of the success they had last year and the fact that I feel like their defense is better.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I was kind of thinking that when Daniil left that, John Grenard would be their big edge rusher, I guess, but it seems like their whole defense is just playing lights out. Flores has got something going right up there. He's
a tough guy to get ready for. And it's up to Bobby Slowick and company to kind of account for that.
Yeah. Somebody we don't really have to worry about as far as, well, in any situation, it's Kaimi Fairbairn. Dude has been automatic so far through 2 weeks.
I mean, this is if you're a longtime Texans fan, Kaimi's been in the league for almost a decade now.
Yep.
And there were times where he was not automatic. He was not consistent. And you did not feel good about Kaimi running out there and kicking the football. I mean, 8 months ago in Indianapolis, a missed extra point nearly cost the Texans a chance to go to the playoffs. Yep. So, there's been time but I think between the ears, he's better than he's ever been. That's something he talked about today when we talked to him in the locker room. Is he just mentally is in a better spot for what he is asked to do, and then he's healthy. I mean, he started out a little banged up a couple of times the past few years. So he's healthy, and between the ears, he's ready to rock. So I mean, he's a machine out there. He's the Hawaiian kicking machine.
It's pretty much what it's been. That's like the first kicker in NFL history to open up a season with 6 straight made 50-yard field goal attempts. Yeah. That's an incredible feat, like for anybody. And he's out here doing it and making it look easy. That 59-yard field goal had room to spare.
Well, and defense or special teams coordinator Frank Ross talks about this a lot of times with the new kickoff. You get the ball at the 30. You're really 3 first downs away from being in field goal range if you have a good kicker. The Texans have a good kicker. So think about, 3 first downs, and you can put points on the board if you get the ball at the 30 because of the new kickoff rule and guys kicking it out of the bounds. Like 3 first downs when you started at the 20, the 25, or when you start off after a punt and you're deep in your own territory, 3 first downs gets you nowhere. But 3 first downs, and you got a chance to score points because Kaimi's automatic. I mean, that's great. I mean, you can't field goal everybody to death, but there's gonna be some teams that you can field goal to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, while in the stands, they were talking about how much of a weapon Kaimi has actually become. It's the fans all around it are really loving Kaimi. These were the same guys a year ago talking about get rid of him, get rid of this bum.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you look, kickers are fickle people. He misses 2 this week and nobody's going to like him anymore. But
Right.
when you make them, everybody loves you. And when you miss them, nobody cares about you.
Yep. And rightfully so after his efforts last week, AFC Team Player of the Week. So hats off to Kaimi. Before we get directly into the Vikings, To'o had a phenomenal game last week. Do you think he's emerging in this defense?
Here's what I love about Henry To'o is he took everything that didn't work last year and made a concerted effort in the offseason to fix those things. And some of them are hard to do, and some of them are easy to do. For instance, he said before the first game that last year he was out of shape at the end of the season. He didn't feel like he was in good enough shape, and so that was something that he worked on tirelessly to be in better shape as the season got started. He also mentioned multiple times in the preseason, I had to be a better tackler, and I did everything I could in the offseason to become a better tackler. And I heard Nick Caserio talk about this. He said tackling is a thing that players can improve despite the fact that you wouldn't think you can improve tackling. It's not one of those things that it's just you have to do it well to get better. Like there's drills and things that you can do by yourself to get better, and To'o did those things. And he's played great. They trust him. They put him on the field a ton. He's a much better player. Between the ears, diagnosing plays, knowledge of the system, there was never a question about Henry To'o. It was going to be, is he physically good enough to play in the NFL for a long time? And now what I feel like he's done is he's raised his floor. Is he's no longer like the floor last year at the end of the year was unplayable. The floor now is, even if you play him, there's a solid level of play sometimes if he's having a bad day. If he's having a good day, he's having a real good day. But the floor is a lot higher for To'o, and he's sort of unlocked what his potential is on the top end too.
Okay, that's valid. So let's get into the Vikings. Mike?
Oh, I've been waiting on this one. Cody, can you tell me who this guy, Sam Darnold, is? This is not the Sam Darnold that I remember in college, not the Sam Darnold I remember for the Jets. I don't know who this guy is.
Sam Darnold still, I know he's had a little success here through a couple of weeks. Sam Darnold is still one of the most statistically awful quarterbacks in the history of the NFL.
That made me feel better.
A couple of games, one against the New York Football Giants, who stink. Okay, a couple of games. That does not make you a kingmaker. There's hundreds of quarterbacks that have had 2 really good games. There's a laundry list of guys that have pulled an upset one week and not ended up being worth a hoot for the rest of the time. And if you look at his day, you take out a 97-yard completion to Justin Jefferson, which it wasn't 97 yards completion. It was 40 or something yards in the air, and then Jefferson did the rest. He only throws for 171 yards on 25 attempts. That's not a huge day. Look, Kevin O'Connell's a great coach. I don't know if we're ever going to see just how great he can be until he gets a really good quarterback. But Kevin O'Connell is a guy that is going to create a solid foundation for an offense that if you let them hang around or you make a mistake, they will take advantage of you. They don't have the ability to knock you out, if we're using a boxing phrase, but they can counterpunch you all the way through and win on points. They're not going to knock you out, okay? But they could win rounds with you on points because you make a mistake or you give them an opening. That's what I feel like Kevin O'Connell has created this Vikings offense to do is, you're going to make a mistake? We're going to take advantage of it. You can't get a pass rush because we've got 2 good tackles? We're going to take advantage of it. You underestimated what Aaron Jones can do? We're going to take advantage of it. That's my thing with them is they will make you pay for a mistake. So you need to play as close to a mistake-free football as you can.
So they sound like a very opportunistic offense.
That's how I feel because I mean, look, San Fran. I don't want to sit here. I'm not going to sit here and act like that's not a really good football team. It is. Okay. The best player on their defense is a linebacker. It's not a corner. It's not a pass rusher. The best player on their defense is Fred Warner. The second, look, Nick Bosa is awesome. Okay. Like he's one of the best pass rushers in football, but there's not a dude opposite him that's going to rush, that's going to put as much pressure as the defensive end duo that the Vikings are going to see this week. So you're going to see Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, and when one of those guys is out, Derek Barnett is a perfectly serviceable backup, and they're going to put a lot of heat on Sam Darnold, and he's not going to get away like Caleb Williams and Anthony Richardson could. And so let's see how Sam Darnold, famous for sitting there on Monday Night Football, mic'd up saying, "I'm seeing ghosts." Let's see how many H-Town blue ghosts and how many battle red ghosts and how many Liberty white ghosts he sees on Sunday when he's got to try to throw against Kamari Lassiter and Derek Stingley, and he's got to try to survive when Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson are breathing down his neck. So let's see how many ghosts he sees then.
Oh God, Sam Darnold, what a guy!
Well, thank you for making me feel better, Cody.
Yeah.
Chris has got our next question.
All right. So I want to, first of all, you guys can hear me, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got you.
Apologize for the no camera. I've just been listening. Didn't want to be rude to you guys. Been listening. But real quick, I want to ask about Justin Jefferson, but in the same breath, because as you're talking about Sam Darnold, what do you think? How do you think our pass rush would affect him getting the ball to Justin Jefferson? Because that's going to be I think that's going to cause a problem. Like, he's not a Caleb Williams. He's not an Anthony Richardson. He's not going to move.
Yeah, the thing that they do pretty well is they're going to go sideways and short. If you think back to the way Gardner Minshew attacked this defense last year when he came in for Anthony Richardson, short and sideways is how you can stymie that pass rush. And there's nothing you can do about that as pass rushers. Like, you just have to take care of your opportunities when you get them. But they're going to go short and they're going to go sideways a lot to make sure that pass rush doesn't eat Sam Darnold alive. And they just so happen to have one of the best wide receivers in football he can win short. If you want to throw him a screen, he'll make guys miss. And he's good enough to win. He's good enough to make routes that aren't short for other guys feel short enough that Darnold can get the ball out to him. So it's not going to be easy to keep the ball away from Justin Jefferson. But that's why if you win on first down, you win on second down, and you get these third and long situations where Anderson and Hunter and those defensive tackles, and maybe you bring a little heat. The Texans brought some heat on Caleb Williams last week. You bring a little heat from a blitz. That's when you can negate some of that short stuff, because the Texans tackle pretty well. I mean, there's been a hiccup here or there, but you go short, they're going to make sure that you're not, turning a 2-yard completion into a 12-yard gain to get a first down on 3rd and 12. So that's to me is you've got to win on those early downs. You got to make them pay when they do go short and they go sideways. You can't let what's supposed to be a 2-yard completion turn into a 6-yard completion, and now they can go to that again. That's my big thing with this Vikings matchup.
Okay. So the defense, we've talked about it a little bit for the Vikings. Solid unit. I think statistically through 2 weeks, they're among the top 5 in the stopping the run. So with the injuries that we've got, with the talent that they have, do you think it's going to be a Texans offensive showdown, or not showdown, but showcase? Or do you think it's going to be a lot more of what we saw Sunday night?
I would be very surprised if they're able to go through and really whoop up on this Vikings defense. Can they score on it? Yeah, I do believe they can score on it. But I like a lot of their pieces. Obviously, Grenard's there, and that's the dude for their defensive line pass rush. But I actually think their linebacker situation is one of the better ones because Cashman's playing out of his mind still. Pace is really good. And then Andrew Van Ginkel, who's a guy who's, if you watched Hard Knocks last year, you know a little bit about Van Ginkel. I remember Van Ginkel coming out of Wisconsin, and I was thinking to myself, all right, this guy's got a little juice to him. And he turned into a real important piece for the Miami Dolphins in his final couple of years there with them. And then he got a nice contract to move on, and he's been a guy running around with his hair on fire. That's their thing, is their linebackers are just run around with their hair on fire guys, and then they just kind of try to create some chaos for you and hope your guy makes a mistake. Secondary is nice. It's a little old. I think it's old. Like I feel like the secondary feels old because Harrison Smith's been playing forever and Stephon Gilmore's been playing forever. They got some other players that are on there that are fine. So I'd be shocked if the Texans marched the weapons down Main Street and had a huge day, but they can put some points on the board certainly.
Okay. We talked about this a little bit before the show, but Brian Flores has got a pretty good record against the Shanahan system. Is there any actual gravity to that, or he's got favorable matchups on the occasions he's?
I think anytime the opposing team's offensive line is playing bad, your defensive coordinator looks like a genius. And that's to me what happened with San Francisco. Trent Williams is awesome. Trent Williams is, for my money, the best left tackle in football. Those other four dudes they got on the offensive line in San Francisco, they're not world beaters. They're not great. That unit has to very much play as a unit, or they're going to be in a rough situation, and you're going to see defenses sort of take over on them and really put some heat on Brock Purdy, who doesn't move around super well, and keep them from doing some of the things that they like to do. Plus, Deebo Samuel got hurt in that game. So, I don't want to sit here and act like any coach has any sort of secret sauce for any scheme, because you can scheme everything you want. The players are different every week. The scheme might be this, but hey, you know whose scheme's going to suck for the next few weeks? Sean McVay. You know why? Because half his team's hurt. So I don't think anybody's got any sort of secret sauce. I'll be interested to see if Bobby Slowick has anything to say if he's asked about that. Hey, this guy has success against similar offenses. What do you think? And Slowick would tell you, yeah, they're similar, but they're different. So
love it.
Deebo gets hurt, and again, it's a very different team. They've got two really good wide receivers. The Texans have three good wide receivers. So it's different. They got a great tight end. The Texans don't have a great tight end. Jordan Mason, he rattled off 5 yards a carry against them, but he's not dynamic. You have to prepare for Christian McCaffrey. So there were some disadvantages the 49ers had on that made it look worse. And oh, by the way, the Vikings never put them away. It's not like the Vikings, again, it's my boxing analogy from earlier. They won on points. Okay. They didn't, I don't feel like they knocked out the 49ers. San Fran felt like they were in that game for most of that game.
Yeah. Okay. Valid. Chris?
So I have a question. Let's just say, me, just speaking for myself and possibly anybody else out there. Let's just say I'm a betting man and I want to check a few things out this weekend.
Yep.
What do you think something like that would look like this weekend?
I would go with a Tank Dell touchdown. A little sprinkle on that. Week 3 was when Tank broke out last year against Jacksonville. So I'd go with the Tank Dell touchdown. I like that. If Mixon and Pierce don't play, it's worth looking at Akers' yards total and seeing what you could get. I wouldn't go real high, but he can get up 50, 60 yards, and they can split the sort of the way that they run the football amongst some other guys. And I don't know if the wise guys have caught up to the sack numbers yet, because every game so far has been half a sack for Danielle Hunter, half a sack for Will Anderson. And I mean, I'm basically going to bet on those guys getting a sack every game. Like, because I think at the end of the year, I'm going to be right more than I'm going to be wrong.
Yeah.
You know, so
That's a nice total at the end if you think about that too.
yeah, like, I mean, look, if they play 17 games and I lose that bet 5 times, okay, well, they have at least 12 sacks, and they probably have more because they're not getting just 1 per game. Instance, last game, they each got 1.5, you know? So that's where I would lean. I don't love the point total. I don't love the, either side from a spread standpoint right now. And so that's kind of the ones I would stay with. I'm more with this Texans team. I think I'm more player centric because I know who they trust, and I know what they want to accomplish with this team.
Okay. Well, look, I know you're pressed for time, so let's go ahead and get the score prediction. Maybe not a score prediction, but what we think an outcome could look like. We know the over-under is 46.5. Texans are favored by 2 at the moment, according to ESPN bets.
I like basically something close to the score that happened last game the Vikings played, but I like it in favor of the Texans. So the Vikings won 23-17. I like the Texans to get about 23, 24 points in this one, and to keep the Vikings off the scoreboard, force them into some field goals. I mean, they ran for 146 last week. You take off the 30 or so that Darnold brought to the table. I mean, you got a good chance to hold them under 100 rushing yards. And then if you're doing that, that means Sam Darnold's having to throw more. That means lots of 3rd and longs. That means unleash hell with the defensive line, and that's more than enough. It's an unexpectedly fun game because when you played the win-win, loss-loss game before the season, you probably just put a W next to this one and kept moving. But the first 2 weeks, the Vikings have shown you, hey, don't overlook them. And the fact that the 49ers just went there and got beat up a little bit, that helps the Texans not get surprised by this Vikings team. So I like the Texans by about a touchdown or so in this one. Low 20s for the Texans and under 20 for the Vikings.
Okay, copy that.
So,
folks, go ahead and take this opportunity to go follow Cody Studds on every possible social media you can find. Go on over to Houston Football, HOUfootball.com. Check out all his stuff. Subscribe to his content. He puts out phenomenal articles covering the Texans. He's at practice. He's talking to the coaches and players. If there is a Texans insider, it is this man. So
you're kind, man. Thank you so much for the kind words, and appreciate you having me on. And I'm sure we'll do it again before the season ends.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Cody.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. And then there was 3. So let's start with Chris. Chris, what is your score prediction for Sunday at 12 o'clock in Minneapolis?
So, as much as I want to say that it's going to be like a touchdown, we were only a touchdown favorite against the Bears, which we would have covered. I blame Cam Akers. I don't believe in Cam Akers, so I don't believe it'll be a touchdown. So I'm going to say like 24-21. Texans. I'm saying a field goal, and it might be a blowout for all I know. We might tear Sam Darnold's head off. That's what I'm hoping for. To tear Sam Darnold, he turns into Sam Darnold again, because that's what I believe. Last time Sam Darnold went on a win streak, it didn't last long. In Carolina, I think he went on a 3-game win streak. I don't think he makes it that far this time. You ask who is that Sam Darnold? I don't believe in him yet.
Yeah. Well, I don't think anybody really believes in him, period. But yes.
But I have to respect him right now.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I will.
Like I said, I even be honest, I'm still trying to get proof in Geno Smith. He's done it over a year now. So I'm the skepticist of all of us, if anybody. I'm just not, I don't see it.
Yeah. What do you see when it comes to score prediction, Mike?
Like thinking about this, hearing these numbers and the fact that I'm the one that's been high every week because I keep waiting on that Texans explosion.
Yeah.
I think Stephon Diggs is going to go off. I think Tank Dell is due. So I'm going to go 31-21.
31-20.
I love the boldness.
Yeah, the boldness is very appreciative. I appreciate it.
I stay high.
You and Snoop. Let's see here. All right. So me, I feel like the game has a lot of potential to be very, very similar to Sunday Night Football. I think this defense is built in a particular way that could kind of not necessarily cap, but I guess put a soft limit on what we're able to do. They have a pretty solid defensive mind across the field from us this week. Brian Flores is no slouch. Slowick's going to have to be in his bag on this one.
Yeah.
I think the Texans end up winning it. I think we go to 3-0. But I think this game is 20-9.
Ooh. Okay. And see, speaking of that, it makes me think about the fact that Minnesota actually has one of the best offensive and defensive minds on the same sidelines.
Yeah.
Kevin O'Connell, I don't know if he's a Steichen guy, but he's definitely pretty damn good. And Brian Flores, he got a head coaching job based on his defense.
Yeah. Yep.
He gets interviews for head coaching jobs still because of his defense. Even though he's notoriously an asshole. But hey.
Yes.
Yeah, so glad.
And sues everybody.
I sound so bad. So glad we didn't hire him. No.
Yeah.
Like it's just I thought that when I heard we were really getting D'Amico, I never thought that was ever going to happen.
Yeah.
I've been thinking we were going to get D'Amico for years, and I never thought. And when we got him, I don't know. I feel like when we got him, because I love watching D'Amico as a player. I never thought that they fooled me and maybe had me thinking we could have went to the Super Bowl plenty of times, but like I've never felt like we ever had the coach. He is except for Kubiak. This is in my opinion. I don't care. Bill O'Brien, not trying to hear it. He was like, no, I didn't like Bill O'Brien I didn't even know who Bill O'Brien was. Like, we're not gonna do that. I'm being honest. I didn't. I knew nothing about Bill O'Brien. I just knew that when he was at Penn State. I knew he was at Penn State and he was supposed to be, like an offensive guru, type mind, but from the Belichick tree. And I dislike the fact that for so many years we tried to copy the Belichick tree.
Yeah.
That was a real issue for me. Not saying they didn't win us games, but we didn't have Tom Brady either.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest.
It wasn't just us. The entire NFL was trying to do the same thing.
Oh my God.
The folks in Nashville were doing the same thing, bringing in Mike Vrabel. The Lions tried to do it with Matt Patricia. I'm trying to think.
The Broncos, the Raiders.
Raiders, yeah. There's been a lot of teams trying to bring that general vibe.
Brother, all the coaches. You got Josh McDaniels, and he goes to the Raiders.
Yeah.
I know it's what's it called now. It's fine. Like I say, I don't trust Sam Darnold. So like I kind of agree with Mike as far as those things go about his score. So like I'm hoping more from Mike, but I'm so like that's how my score came about because I also, as far as defenses go, I think the Bears defense is better. Not saying that I'm not taking anything away from Minnesota's defense. I think the Bears defense is better. Just my opinion. I think the way I saw them play, And it seemed like they got better as the game went on. That was the issue with the Bears defense. It seemed like they got better. And I don't think Minnesota's defense is going to be the same way. And also, I think it's Tank Dell time.
It's due time.
Yeah.
And just the only thing I'm gonna push back on, Chris, as much as I hate to say it, still, Bill O'Brien still might be our best quarterback. I mean, Bill O'Brien might be our best coach that the Texans have ever had. And I love Kubiak, I do. But Bill O'Brien, how many AFC South championships?
AFC South, I think he got like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in at least 2.
I know. I thought 2. I was thinking 2.
He won one with Ryan Mallett and Brian Hoyer alternating all year. He won one.
I know every time we won, we beat the Bengals in the playoffs or the Bills.
Yeah. Well, I know.
I think the first time was we beat the Bengals was with Kubiak though.
Yeah. Well,
and then we beat them again. I think with Bill O'Brien, and then we beat the Bills.
Yeah. We had.
We should have beat the Chiefs, but I digress.
Yeah, that was Josh Allen's first season. That year we beat them, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it was his second season. I think it was his second season.
It was
because he got because all he did was run. Like I said, I think Stephon Diggs was a real help to him because look at him now. He don't even need Stephon Diggs. I don't care what anybody say. He don't need Stephon Diggs. That's what I was wondering about. Was he going to need Stephon Diggs? He's proven he don't.
Well, he doesn't need them to win, but Josh Allen isn't throwing up the passing numbers he did when Stephon was there.
Yeah. No, I don't think. Of course, I think the passing numbers are going to be down, of course, but I was just saying, just like to win in general, I didn't know if he was going to need Stephon Diggs to win, because you had that threat, even though you wasn't throwing him the ball, he's still Stephon Diggs, the man that had the commercial where when he was with the Vikings, when he touched anything, the mailbox, anything, his glove got stuck to it. That's what they were talking about him. Y'all remember the commercial? Y'all remember the commercial? I know. The old commercial, but I know. Oh, man.
I forgot about that one.
Did you have something you wanted to say about Aaron Jones?
Oh, yeah. So, Aaron Jones, I just want to get you guys' opinion because I didn't get a chance to ask Cody. It's fine. Not worry about it. It's just one of those days. I want to know what you guys think because I think that first 2 weeks we have been doing great against the run. Remember, we won. We had Jonathan Taylor, and we put the clamps on him.
I'm gonna say, in all honesty, I think Aaron Jones is gonna have a worse game out of all the running backs that we've played so far. Because Aaron Jones and DeAndre Swift are damn near in the same category to me. They're not A-level running backs. They're B-ish, maybe minus-ish. They're not great running backs. Jonathan Taylor is a great running back. Yeah. Derrick Henry last year was a great running back.
Exactly. And we put the clamps on him last year, by the way. I'm just talking about Derrick Henry, not Jonathan Taylor. Yeah. He told us up last year, but Derrick Henry, we put the clamps on him last year. I was just curious because I think because Justin Jefferson, I don't care. Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, they can't do it all. We're not going to do that. If the runs on, if we're clamping them on the run, that is what I see is going to be a problem for Darnold. If he can't get a run game one, that's going to be a problem.
And that's what I said. I don't think there's going to be any Jordan Addison. I think he's definitely out this week.
Okay. I forgot all about that.
Practice this week.
Yeah, and I think Stingley can deal with Justin Jefferson better than what most can.
All right.
So I'll take that matchup. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't see him unless he's on IR. I don't see him on the injury list. Unless he's on IR, but I feel like they would show that, wouldn't it?
Who?
Show if he was on IR, right?
Addison.
It would show if he's on IR, but
I think
He wouldn't be
I
on
think
the
he's
injury report. He would probably be on like team injury, like the.
yeah.
I don't know what I'm looking for here. Hold on.
Like I said, I don't think he's on IR, but I'm almost positive they already said he's out this week.
Yeah, I felt like I saw something about that.
Him and Hockenson. TJ?
Hockenson is on IR.
Yeah.
Oh,
not sure.
it's just I'm looking on ESPN usually because it usually shows that they're on IR, but I don't even see Hockenson on there. I see a bunch of questionables, and it usually says, you know what, that's fine. I got all kinds. Oh, you know, I got all kinds of apps that'll tell me stuff, different stuff is fine that I gamble on. So we'll figure it out eventually. Yeah, I thought I assumed that he wasn't playing, but I didn't see him on the injury list, so I assumed he might have been.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what's going on there. I mean, the only problem I have with him not being out is I would rather beat the best. It sounds crazy, but I would rather beat the best. It's nothing wrong with not saying that, but I want your best players on the field. I mean, you know, injuries happen. You know, can't do nothing about that. It's fine, whatever. But
And see,
I want to beat the best.
that's the same boat I think about. The only way it makes me feel a little bit different is, to me, Jordan Addison's not better than either one of our 2 and 3 receivers. He's not better than Blake Dale to me. He's definitely not better than Stephon Diggs. So he's I don't want to say he's a non-factor, but yeah, he's sort of a non-factor.
Yeah. Also, I think that's called a Goku complex, where you just constantly will. Well, I mean, if you watch Dragon Ball Z, you get what I'm talking.
Yes, sir.
Homie just constantly is trying to get everybody to their best, and then wants to fight them. Basically the same thing you just said. So, yes, I would like it. If I am of the same mind, I would like to be able to say that we beat any particular team while their best players were available. But, you know, it's just not the way the game works.
Sam Darnold's playing quarterback, so it's all.
Yeah.
Ryan Tannehill light. I said it again.
Well, I think Cody touched on it pretty well. If we can get him seeing ghosts again, you know, and get Kevin O'Connell off of his game plan and start trying to make him be more of a ghost buster, then I think we win. So that's my key to success. Is everybody's just we need PTSD to happen for Sam Darnold and Kevin O'Donnell Kevin O'Connell.
Okay.
I was thinking of Neil O'Donnell, the former.
It popped in my head for a split second there.
My bad. Kevin O'Connell. He just needs to be on cleanup duty at that point. So I think this is a good spot to go ahead and wrap it up. So, gentlemen, do we have any final comments for the evening?
Like I said, I want to see that same pressure we put on Caleb on Sam.
Yeah.
And like same thing Cody was saying, Sam can't run away from it. Shit, Caleb couldn't run away from it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
but that boy's strong. Caleb get that accuracy right and start processing things better. Oh man, he gonna be dangerous. I'm gonna be honest with you. What I saw, he was bad. Don't get me wrong, he was bad, but he is strong.
Well,
And I said now you can mark the tape. He won't get that accuracy corrected and none of those issues corrected while playing for the Bears. It won't happen.
No. What will happen though is he's just going to get annihilated, and he's going to get probably going to go the way of David Carr.
Somebody else saw it. That's exactly how I see it. We're waiting to beat that sack record.
Yep. I mean, with like the Titans were able to get after him, we're able to get after him. Now, justifiably, we all have pretty solid defensive lines. So I mean, you know, it's
who they playing this week?
The Bears.
Yeah,
they're playing the Colts.
Oh shit!
They might be
DeForest Buckner. Yeah.
Yeah, might be 3 weeks in a row of running for your life. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. But all right, well, folks, go ahead and hit the like, subscribe button. We're trying to grow the channel and try to get in front of more Texans fans just like yourselves. We're also trying to grow the channel. We're at 124 subscribers at the time of this recording, and I'd like to see that number jump up. We're obviously trying to hit the 1,000 subscriber goal for monetization because I'd like to be able to pay these gentlemen for their time. Like be able to throw a little bit of some cheddar, some cha-ching at Mr. Cody, and give him a little skin in the game. I don't know.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, like I said.
But yeah, so go Texans and be good people.